Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Thomas. I'm going to go ahead and read the Martin Luther King Jr. close reading passage that you were given at school. I'm reading it to you today so we can cover some things that you may have had questions over, and then you're going to use the information you learned today to answer some questions about the keywords. So listen along as I read, and I will cover some of the meanings of the keywords. Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader who was born in Georgia in 1929. During this time, whites and people of color were segregated. This means they were divided because of their skin color. MLK Jr., which stands for Martin Luther King Jr., worked hard to change segregation laws. He led marches and gave speeches. He showed others how to change laws in peaceful ways and not to use violence. Martin Luther King Jr. had to sometimes face jail for his ideas, but he kept working anyways. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous I Have a Dream speech, and in 1964, he won a Nobel Prize. Unfortunately, only a few short years later, Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed defending what he believed in. Because of MLK Jr.'s hard work, he lived in a better, more fair country. Can you think of any ways the world is better now because of Martin Luther King Jr.'s hard work? Okay, you may have noticed that I have boxed some things already. I put some links up here because I had a connection, and I've also underlined the purpose. If you remember, the purpose was to find character traits. So up here, I have boxed in civil rights. Many of you were confused by the civil rights idea yesterday. And the civil rights are the rights of the people. And at this time, he was working toward the rights of African Americans to be considered free. And so in this case, civil rights means the rights of people, in particular African Americans during his time. Segregated, I've also boxed. And if you look, it tells you the definition right after. This means they were divided because of their skin color. So segregated means separated, to be split up. So make sure you look for those context clues. Down here at the bottom, I've also chosen to box defending. That means to stand up for what you believe. Okay, so you'll need to know these three meanings, and you can re-listen to all of this if you need to remember what those meanings are. Up here, I've underlined MLK Jr. worked hard to change segregation laws. And I underline it because it tells me he has a character trait of being hardworking. He did not give up whatsoever. He continued to be hardworking. Here, I also found a purpose of a character trait. It says he showed others how to change laws in a peaceful way and not to use violence. I underlined it because it shows he is a peaceful man and not going toward violence. So I also put a reason why I underlined it. Here I underlined Martin Luther King Jr. had to sometimes face jail for his ideas, but he kept working anyways. And so I put there that I noticed he was hardworking and brave, both very important character traits that he has. And last, I underlined Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed defending what he believed in. This, too, I thought meant he was brave. I have also made a chain link here and here because I made a connection to Georgia. I know where Georgia is, and that's where he was born. And then down here, I made a connection because it says that because of him, we have the civil rights for African Americans, and I was able to connect with that and thank him for what he has done. Now, you are going to have this vocabulary page, and you need to complete this vocabulary page. If you didn't get it or if you have it, it's on the My Big Campus website. These are the three words, again, civil rights, defend, and segregation. Civil rights, stand up, is the human basic rights. Defend means to stand up for what you believe in, and segregation means to separate. you're going to complete this page and then attach it to My Big Campus.